Our next story is disturbing and may not be suitable for all listeners. It involves dead animals who may have been mistreated. Crystal Truman discovered them. She was on her way home last week driving along a back road in Kings County when something unusual caught her eye. She stopped her vehicle and discovered a dead cow, and then she saw another one. It was a few meters away. She posted about it on Facebook, where her neighbor, Scott Saunders, read her post and went to see the dead cows for himself. Good morning, Crystal and Scott. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. No problem.
Crystal, first to you. You saw these dead cows on a back road in Kings County, as I said there. Where exactly did you see them?
They're on a back road called Hiltz Road. It's not traveled at all during the winter. It doesn't have much road maintenance at all. So even during the summer, not too many people travel it unless they happen to get lost.
And how far off the road were the cows? I mean, how did you see them?
I was just driving by, and of course you have to drive slow, and I was looking out the window into the woods, and I seen this big white spot, which was a little bit odd, as winter is now gone, and I had stopped. They were about maybe 5-6 steps off the side of the road.
So in the woods?
Yes, just inside of the woods.
So you got out and you went for a closer look. What did you see?
I found one cow, which was obviously deceased. You could actually see that there was a hole in his ear perfectly sized from where a tag would have been put through. He had rope tied around one hind leg. And we got in the truck to continue to drive home, and it wasn't far down the road that I had actually spotted another one. I got out, and I, of course, went to check on that guy. At first, I didn't notice anything unusual. I didn't even notice anything around his neck at the time. But when I had went back the next day and got a closer look, I had actually noticed that he had a black rope tied around his neck. So it's a little bit disturbing, as I had my children with me too. So, yeah.
And they stayed in the vehicle?
Yes, they did. But they could see the first one, because it was more noticeable than the other.
And looking at them, could you see any injuries to them or any cause of death?
I couldn't see any cause of death. Like, there was no wounds that I could see from bullets or from animals. They looked a little bit rough, but they looked at one point in time that they were healthy, but I honestly couldn't see any signs of death. My first assumption with seeing the ropes, how they were tied, was that they were mistreated by someone, of course.
But you didn't see any signs of mistreatment that were obvious?
Not that were obvious, besides the rope around the leg and the rope around the neck.
So, Scott, you saw what Crystal posted. How soon after that did you go to get a look at the cows yourself?
Well, I went looking, and like Crystal said, it's quite a rural area. It was certainly a very sad sight. Black Rock is a beautiful and peaceful community in rural Nova Scotia, and I can't understand why anybody would feel that it is okay to dump a carcass of anything. Something just really seems off about it. And once I got some more information, I contacted the Dept of Environment and asked to be transferred to the farm animal cruelty investigator. And I was transferred to the Bridgewater Division. I was immediately told that investigators don't investigate dead farm animals, and only the live ones that may require an intervention. I was spoken to very rudely, to be quite frank, and after questioning the special constable, I was made to feel as if I was in the wrong for picking up the phone in the first place.
How did that explanation strike you, that they investigate animal cruelty cases when the animals are alive?
It didn't seem right. My concern is, what happened here. Something just seemed off about it. And who's to say that this won't become a pattern or an outbreak of sorts? And who's to say that we don't have somebody without hay or food in our community that could use a little help? The investigator absolutely refused to take my name or even my contact number.
And you had a close look too. Did it look like the animals needed food or to you like they had been mistreated, Scott?
I'm not a person who specializes in cattle. I don't know. What concerns me even more is that these cows have apparently been roadside for over a week, and not a single scavenger has attempted to eat them. So do the crows, the ravens, and the coyotes know better? I'm not sure, but I do certainly find it concerning. Were these cows diseased? As the crow flies from these remains, there are dairy operations not that far away. So, a scavenger could spread disease to other farms. And I'm glad that most farmers appear to be dealing with their dead livestock appropriately. But this is simply unreasonable, disrespectful, and what I believe to be a potential danger to the agricultural industry. Somebody who's qualified needs to take a better look. And I can only assume that the Department of Environment would have access to a veterinarian who may be able to get a better idea of what happened to these cows. But all animals deserve better than that, food or companion animals. There is certainly somebody out there right now that should be very ashamed of themselves.
Crystal, did you call anybody else who could look into this?
I called the same place as Scott called, and I got the exact same response. Made to felt ashamed for calling. My information wasn't taken. It just felt like it was, this isn't really our concern, and we're not going to do anything. It doesn't matter, so here we sit.
When I spoke with the investigator at Department of Environment, I was told not to bother contacting the police because they won't deal with that matter either. So I did speak to a member of the RCMP who did tell me that matters like this would be deferred back to the Department of Environment inspectors.
And as far as you know, Crystal, are those animals still there?
I went over late last evening before dark, and they were still there. I'll be going over today to see if they're still there.
And why do you keep checking up on them?
I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I keep on having a feeling that I missed something, like that I missed one. I've taken numerous drives to continue to look. I haven't located any more, but it's just a really bad gut feeling that I missed something. And I just don't know if it was another animal or what it was. That, and I want to know if any of this goes anywhere. I want to know if anybody investigates to find out what happened. Like Scott, we have a lot of agriculture around here, and if they are, in fact, diseased, we could have a really big problem.
Thank you to both of you for telling us about what you found and your questions about that. I appreciate you taking our call, as I say. Thanks, Crystal. Thanks, Scott.
No problem.
Thanks for the day.
That's Crystal Truman and Scott Saunders in Kings County. As they mentioned, in Nova Scotia, the Department of Environment handles complaints about farm animals. CBC has contacted the department. Their communications staff tells us to expect a response. We hope to bring that to you tomorrow on the show. We also contacted the RCMP to find out if they would investigate a situation like this one, and we were told they would contact the provincial department most suited to deal with the complaint. The SPCA also confirms complaints regarding farm animals are handled through Nova Scotia's Department of Environment. It's 11 before